Imagine getting 12 hours of work done in just 4 hours every single day. How much happier or fulfilled would you be? I've spent the last 4 years trying to exploit neuroscience in order to become super productive. And after studying thousands of neuroscientists, elite athletes, world leaders, and top-level CEOs, I discovered a weird protocol that takes your focus and productivity to the next level. And I'm not talking about more meditation, more coffee, or more fluff mindset protocols. So in the next 12 minutes, I'll break this protocol down and I'll show you step by step how you can implement it too in order to work 2 to 4 times faster and get 5 to 10 times more stuff done. You see, whether a task takes you 30 minutes or 5 hours, it all comes down to what chemicals your brain is producing at that exact moment. If your brain is running on the wrong neurochemical cocktail, you'll procrastinate, you'll get distracted, and just feel like your brain is lagging. But when your brain is producing the right chemicals, you drop into flow state in minutes. You work without friction, and you finish 8 hours of work before lunch. So the first step of this protocol is simple. You have to reprogram your biological rhythm for peak productivity. There are 2 hormones that govern almost everything about your mental performance: cortisol and melatonin. Your cortisol spikes in the morning, and this is your natural go time. It's when your brain is built to handle deep work, hard decisions, and focused thinking. In simple words, it's your brain's natural coffee. Melatonin, on the other hand, builds up at night. It's what signals your body and brain to wind down, repair, and prepare for the next day. The problem is, most people have this rhythm completely messed up. They wake up under-rested, they need stimulants in order to function, and they can't fall asleep at night. This leads to brain fog, low motivation, shallow focus, and late-night wired but tired syndrome. Because when that cortisol-melatonin rhythm is off, your body and brain are completely confused with what time of the day it is and what to do and how to feel each hour of the day. So if you want to be in flow and get hours of work done in just minutes, you need to fix that rhythm first. And to do that, we start with something called the focus priming formula. And no, I'm not talking about your Ashton Hall morning routine where you're putting your face in a bowl of cucumbers and ice cubes or praying in your balcony at 4 a.m. for 30 minutes. The focus priming formula is a sequence designed to synchronize your brain's neurochemistry with your most mentally demanding work. The goal here is to maximize your morning cortisol spike, that natural surge of energy and alertness that evolution hardwired into our biology, but that most people completely suppress with the wrong signals. Cortisol, dopamine, and norepinephrine are the chemical drivers of focused attention. And if you can amplify them properly in the first hour of your day, you unlock a window of elite mental output that most people never experience. So instead of spending 4 hours in the morning preparing about your day with nonsense habits, here's the 3 things that actually matter. Number 1, bright light exposure. Sunlight within 10 minutes of waking stimulates the master clock, aka the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain. This resets your circadian rhythm and triggers a healthy cortisol spike, locking in energy and alertness for the day ahead. Number 2, movement. It doesn't have to be a full workout. Even just 5 to 10 minutes of low intensity activity, walking, light cardio, or even mobility, raises core body temperature and kicks off norepinephrine and dopamine production. These are the exact chemicals tied to motivation, attention, and goal-directed behavior. And 3, recovery box breathing. This is a 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, 4-second exhale, 4-second hold type of breathing, otherwise called as box breathing, that slows your heart rate, stabilizes your nervous system, and prevents overstimulation from your morning cortisol spike. Doing this straight after your morning activity or exercise protects against early burnout or overstimulation, keeping you calm and alert for hours. But that's only half the equation, because your brain doesn't just need the gas pedal. It also needs to know when to shut off. Here's what most people don't realize. Your ability to focus tomorrow starts with how you wind down tonight. If your brain is still in decision-making mode, still scrolling, or still trying to solve problems, then you never properly trigger melatonin production, which means that your sleep quality will be poor and you don't recover the neurochemicals you need to be productive the next day. So here's a framework called Reboot Ritual that turns your brain off on demand. And here's how to implement it in 3 steps. Step 1, below eye level, fire-colored lights. 2 to 3 hours before bed, switch to warm, dim lights placed below your eye level. This mimics firelight and cues your brain that it's nighttime. Blue light from overhead bulbs suppresses melatonin production for up to 80%, delaying your recovery window by hours. Step 2, no central nervous system stimulation. Avoid cognitively demanding tasks like emails, strategy, SOPs, or intense conversations like sales calls. These ramp up your sympathetic nervous system, the same one responsible for fight or flight, and delay your ability to enter rest, digest, and recover. And step number 3, pre-sleep decompression. Use low stimulation activities like rhythm fiction, stretching, or parasympathetic breath work to slow your system down. This downregulates cortisol, improves your heart rate variability, and ensures that you stay in deep sleep for longer and that your sleep is in general more restorative. restorative. This framework will reset your nervous system every night so that when the morning comes, your brain is ready to fire on all cylinders again. Now, once your mornings are dialed and your nights are optimized for recovery, there is still one piece that almost every hardworking entrepreneur ignores, because there is a hidden variable that controls when your brain is naturally wired for elite focus. And it's not about motivation or discipline, it's about timing your work strategically to your biochemistry. Because even if your brain is primed and ready, if you try to do deep work when your biology is at its lowest, you're not just being inefficient, you're wasting your peak focus hours doing low ROI tasks. This hidden variable is called circadian workload placement, and it might be the single most underrated lever for 10x in your productivity. Because the truth is, your brain chemistry isn't fixed throughout the day. It fluctuates. Your cortisol, dopamine, and mental clarity naturally peak and fall on a cycle. And if you try to push deep work during a biological low point, you're literally fighting your own brain. More specifically, in the first 8 hours after waking, just do deep work. This is when your cortisol, dopamine, and alertness are peaking. This window is biologically optimized for deep thinking, complex problem solving, creativity, and strategic decision making. In these first 8 hours, your brain is in its prime time, so use it for the tasks that move the needle forward the most. Now, on the other hand, in the afternoon to evening, just do admin or reactive tasks. As your cortisol begins to dip and melatonin starts to rise, your cognitive sharpness naturally declines. This is the time for meetings, emails, admin, and low-stakes reactive tasks that don't require peak mental horsepower. Trying to write sales copy, film content, or solve major problems in your business at 6 p.m. is like trying to deadlift after running a marathon. You can do it, but you'll probably do it worse, slower, and burn out faster. But when you time your tasks with your brain's natural rhythm, you'll find yourself getting more done in less time, with less effort, and without burning out. So now your internal software is wired for peak performance. But there is one more truth that the world's most elite performers understand. Your environment dictates your execution. Imagine a top-level fighter pilot trained to the highest level, biochemically optimized, and mentally dialed in, but instead of using the world's best fighter jet there is, he's flying in a cockpit with foggy windows, loose controls, and a half-broken dashboard. It doesn't matter how elite the pilot is, if his setup is wrong, his performance crashes. That's the same with your workspace. Because even if your brain is biochemically primed, if your environment is distracting, cluttered, or mentally draining, you're leaving 50% of your focus on the table. Because to consistently tap into deep work and operate at your mental peak, you need more than just good habits. You need the tools that reduce cognitive load, the structures that keep you locked into flow, and the cues that trigger neuroplasticity and prime your brain for the highest level of execution. And these aren't gimmicks or aesthetic upgrades, but they're scientifically optimized tools that turn your workspace into a launchpad for elite mental performance. There is something called deep work enablers. There's a neuroscience principle called context-dependent memory, and it explains why our brain performs best when specific environments are linked to specific tasks. It's the reason why you struggle to focus when you're working from bed, or why your best ideas may come in the shower. And it's the exact reason why the world's most productive, creative, and most successful people have a dedicated, sacred workspace. People like Elon Musk, Alex Ramosi, Charles Darwin, Bill Gates, William Shakespeare, Thomas Edison, all conduct their most important work from a specific, sacred work environment. It's because your brain literally forms neural associations between physical spaces and mental states. So if you want to train your brain to enter deep work on command, the fastest way to do it is to create a workspace where the only thing your brain expects to do is execute. This is called the neuro workspace, a dedicated physical zone designed to program your mind for focus. And here's how you can build it. Step 1, single-use environment. Your brain works on habit loops. If you scroll on Instagram, eat food, and reply to texts at the same desk you're working from, your brain won't take deep work seriously. So designate one space that's only for deep work. No phone, no food, no fluff. Over time, this space becomes a neural trigger that tells your brain it's go time. Step number 2, remove visual clutter. Every item in your field of view demands micro attention from your brain. Books, chargers, cups, post-it notes, they all silently drag your cognitive performance. Clean desk means clean cognition. So your desk needs to only have what you absolutely need for execution. And step 3, create a start cue. This could be putting on your headphones, lighting a candle, or playing a focus playlist. Anything at all that acts as a neuro-associative anchor. Just like a fighter steps into the ring with a walkout song, your brain needs a reliable and consistent signal to tap into peak focus mode. And once this setup is in place, just walking into this room triggers flow state, focus, and full mental engagement. But before we go deeper, here's something you need to know. Some of the highest performing CEOs and behavioral scientists all share this one thing in common. doing? They engineer their physical environment to extend their focus window and eliminate energy leaks. Because performance isn't just biological, it's also spatial. That's where something like the optimized setup comes in. A setup of tools and adjustments designed to amplify mental energy, reduce friction, and extend mental stamina by hours. Your body posture, your energy, and even your visual field all send signals to your brain. And the right combination of these elements can quite literally double your cognitive output. And here's how to scientifically optimize your setup so that your office naturally triggers your brain to execute at its maximum capacity. Step 1 is a standing desk or an adjustable desk. Alternating between sitting and standing keeps blood flow circulating and prevents the cognitive decline that comes with being static. More circulation leads to more oxygen flow, which leads to sharper thinking and higher energy levels. Step number 2 is a walking pad. Low intensity movement while working has been shown to boost executive function, reduce mental fatigue, and increase alertness. It's like active recovery, but for your brain. And number 3 is a bright light source. If you don't have access in your office to natural light from a window, a bright light tool like the ones you see in the screen right now can simulate the alertness boosting effects from daylight, which can increase morning dopamine and cortisol, which keeps your brain sharp and productive for deep work. With these 3 tools, you'll be able to turn your office into an optimized setup, scientifically engineered to help you get more done in less time by being ultra focused and razor sharp. But now let's talk about the most powerful environmental trigger of them all. A single tool that not only increases your focus, but compresses your workload and eliminates overwhelm at the same time. You've seen people like Andrew Huberman, Alex Ramosi, and hundreds of other high performers leverage this one tool to unlock a competitive edge for their productivity. And once you start using it as well, especially in combination with everything we've implemented in this video, it will help you get to your maximum productivity so you can get 12 hours of work done in just 4 hours every single day, so you can get an unfair advantage and dominate everyone in your industry. Because this tool is the deep work multiplier. And while most people think of a timer as just a reminder to stay on track, what it actually does is reprogram your brain's perception of time, urgency, and focus. Here's why it works and why every high-performing entrepreneur, including yourself, should be using one. Reason number 1 is Parkinson's law activation. Parkinson's law says that work expands to fill the time allocated to it. So when you give yourself an open-ended window to finish a task, your brain will take all the time in the world to complete this task without urgency. But when you constrain the time, like using a 90-minute timer, you create artificial urgency. Now the brain interprets that as a sprint and not a marathon. And as a result, you start moving faster, thinking clearer, and finishing tasks in half the time. Reason number 2 is called ultradian rhythm alignment. Your brain naturally runs on 90-minute performance cycles followed by a short recovery window. Most entrepreneurs power through their work by pushing through these dips, which causes your performance to gradually drop after every cycle. But by using this timer, you can break your day into performance sprints of an hour to 90 minutes, followed by recharge phases of 10 to 20 minutes at a time. This keeps your brain operating at peak capacity without burning out or crashing. And reason number 3 is called cognitive load reduction. Constantly checking the clock, wondering how long you've been working, or debating when to take breaks burns mental energy. When you externalize time with a simple digital timer in your field of view, your brain stops worrying about it. That frees up cognitive bandwidth to go all in on the task at hand instead of trying to self-regulate. And as a result, you allocate all of your mental resources to deep work and to getting stuff done. So now that you know how to time your deep work to match your biological peak and how to build an environment that keeps you locked in, the truth is that information isn't the problem. Implementation is. Because if it were just about having the steps, you would have done this months ago. What actually moves the needle is having a personalized system built around your specific biology, your goals, and your lifestyle, and having the accountability and precision to execute it at a high level. And there's this protocol I've implemented with hundreds of entrepreneurs, including people like Jordan Platten, Thomas Gannett, Matt Shields, and Nathan Nazareth, to help them completely eliminate brain fog, unlock peak mental performance, and scale their businesses faster while working fewer hours. So watch this video on the screen where I'll show you exactly step by step how you can use this protocol to diagnose the real reason behind your brain fog, fatigue, or midday crashes. Use data to rebuild your energy, focus, and output from the ground up. Build a custom plan for your sleep, nutrition, exercise, and deep work windows, and execute like a machine consistently and predictably without ever burning out.